How does dance help us, both mentally and physically? And how can movement as a whole be classified as a necessary daily activity as a result of these benefits that it provides? Oftentimes, people struggle to determine whether they should classify dance as an art form or a sport. In my personal opinion, it can be classified as both, and this is why. When I think of dance as an art form, I think of the mental and emotional benefits that we receive from participating. For me personally, dance is a huge stress reliever. Dance also serves as a distraction from reality, and it allows me to express emotions that I am feeling internally, as well as the words that I cannot speak out loud, through movements. Dance triggers the release of endorphins, specifically dopamine, in the brain, which makes us feel happy. When I interviewed other individuals, they all had extremely similar responses as to how dance can help us mentally and emotionally, even those who don't participate in it directly. While dance is considered an art form, it can just as easily be considered a sport and a form of athleticism as well. There are not just mental and emotional benefits that are gained from participating in dance, but there are also physical benefits. Some of the personal physical benefits that I have experienced and continue to experience as a result of being a dancer are that I am able to stay in shape both internally and externally. I have gained better breath control as well as a healthy heart. Dance is not the only form of movement that can have both physical benefits as well as mental and emotional benefits. Movement can be defined as an act of changing physical location or position, or having this changed. In conducting interviews, I asked everyone about how they feel that movement as a whole can be beneficial to us both mentally and physically, and everyone gave answers that were very similar to the answers that they gave for dance specifically. The final question I asked was, do you believe that movement of some sort should be classified as a necessary daily activity under the occupation of an activity of daily living in the OTPF4 that is required for people to live their daily lives? The OTPF4 describes the main concepts and general practices of occupational therapy and what comes along with the profession. Occupation can be defined as the everyday personalized activities that people do as individuals, in families, and with communities to occupy time and bring meaning and purpose to life. Occupations are specific to an individual, therefore making them personal, and they are the bigger umbrella of different activities, which are not personal. Activities, more specifically daily activities, can be defined as the activities that we engage in our daily lives that are necessary for our survival. Daily activities fall under the occupation of ADL, or Activities of Daily Living. The occupation of ADL is the most important occupation for this project, since this is the occupation that we are determining whether movement should be classified as a daily activity under. ADLs are necessary occupations that are meaningful and purposeful daily tasks revolving around self-care. A list of specific ADLs includes bathing and showering, toileting and hygiene, dressing and undressing, eating and feeding and swallowing, personal hygiene and grooming, sexual activity, and functional mobility, which is the transportation of oneself or objects from one place to another. More specifically, I am going to be focusing on the ADL of functional mobility. I think that it would be important to look into changing this specific ADL to be labeled as just movement, and then to have subcategories, one of which would include functional mobility. Other subcategories of movements, besides functional mobility, would include walking, running, and other forms of transportational movements, dancing, working out, and other forms of stationary movements, and playing sports. Movement, no matter what form that is being engaged in, brings meaning and purpose to our lives as human beings. As one of my interviewees stated, we all have bodies that are meant to move. Our systems are best supported when we employ daily forms of movement. I truly could not have said this better myself. Our bodies are meant to move, not to stay stationary. They will begin to downgrade and deteriorate if we do not move, which is why it is so difficult for those who have experienced different conditions, illnesses, or events that have led them to a limited range of mobility, often struggle with their ability to move again when the opportunity comes. After conducting my interviews and asking each person whether or not they think that movement should be classified as a necessary daily activity, we all came to the conclusion of yes, because movement brings meaning and purpose into each individual's lives, and that is what an occupation is.